I think Brahmastra was one film where I was blown away by the effects. I didn't expect that much in a Hindi film. I think it's too early for a film that is VFX led to be driven by a female actor. Let's say Lapata Lady was a really amazing film, but it did really well on OTT more than the theatre. But I'll also be okay doing a commercial, brainless film where I'm just having fun just to balance my mental space. And I remember having a conversation with Tamannaah, and I think both of us are really happy about the fact that, because it was led by women and it made so much money, you'll have to cut your remuneration, and all of that I've gone through. But I think after that film, it changed things because then they were like, oh, but these two women have, taken this project so far. It could be between two male actors as well, but ऐसे ही हमें बदनाम कर देते हैं कि लड़कियां ही लड़ती हैं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Sanya is one of them, I think, who's going. I'm really happy that Mrs. did really well for her.
Hi Raashii, how are you?
Oh, hello, I'm good. How are you?
All good, all good. Congratulations on the release of your latest film. What has been the reaction like so far?
I really don't know what exactly is the reaction. I think it's bordering towards the positive, but I think it'll still take time for me to understand till Monday at least, to see where it's going with the audience.
Do you still feel jittery before any release?
Do I still
feel jittery, like anxious before any release, or you think you're like relatively relaxed now?
To be very honest, I don't think I feel jittery or anything before a release, because I feel like now my job is done and now it's just up to the audience whether or not they like it. Because probably I've been part of so many films that I think that jitteriness is actually gone. Like it's not there before a release. It's there on set when I'm working, but once I'm done with the project, then it doesn't really. Then I just let it go. Then I just surrender. Then I'm like, okay, now it's up to the audience whenever it releases. Let's see what the reception's going to be like.
Okay, all right. Raashii, when it comes to like this film, of course, is a VFX-heavy film. That's the genre also, I think filmmakers today are taking a lot more risks, when it comes to making a VFX-heavy film. Then look at the number of, films per year which get made, in this genre. Can you put your finger on one film that you think sort of really has set the precedent in real times? In recent times?
Sadly, I think Brahmastra was one film where I was blown away by the effects. I didn't expect that much in a Hindi film, to be very honest. I think that set the precedent. We can do this. Obviously there are always budget issues. So within the budget, how much can you? There's always a set budget that's kept for VFX, and it was a big film, and they did a great job with the VFX and the special effects. I think that sort of set precedent for me because I remember that film really well for the effects that it had, and I'm glad that filmmakers are now sort of trying different things. And I think we've always looked at Hollywood films for these effects, special effects, but I think it's high time that we start doing that in our own industry.
Absolutely. Also, I think, when we think of a VFX-led action film, the thought still is that it's largely a man's space, a male-dominated space. So, when you receive this script, where you had, like I said, a veteran actor like Arjun Sarja, was there ever an apprehension in your mind that, what room perhaps is there for me in a film like this?
I think when I heard the script, I knew what I was getting into. Commercial films mostly. It's great if you have that much space, but there was also Arjun sir, there was also Jiva, so I knew that they'd probably be dominating the film, which is fine by me till my character has a certain space in the film. Like I've always maintained that it doesn't really matter how big or small your role is, it should just have some impact. Otherwise, you're just replaceable. Anybody can play the part that you're playing. Of course, we still have a long way to go, and people should be able to bank on us for a whole film, especially if it's VFX led. I think there is a long way to go with that, because still even mainstream heroes, when they do VFX, and it takes a lot of money, like from the production end, they have to really pump in a lot of money. If you can bring people to the theaters, they will be happy to shoulder it on you. But I think we're still because we're still trying to experiment with it, I think it's too early for a film that is VFX led to be driven by a female actor. It will happen eventually, but right now I feel like it's too early, to do that.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I remember Diva recently, in an interview, he said that, while I love doing these experimental films here and there, I think an actor eventually, once in a while, needs to fall back on the formulaic films. What's your take on that?
Today it's a very confusing place where all of us actors are. The more I speak to actors, the more I figure out that everyone is confused. They don't know what is working. They don't know if they should be doing commercial films only, or they should be a part of only content driven films. Like nobody knows what's working anymore. There may be a great film, like let's say Lapata Lady. It was a really amazing film, but it did really well on OTT more than the theater. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what happened with that film. Then you see a film like Pushpa 2 doing great numbers also because it's a very good film. It's led by Allu Arjun, but it does these great numbers and it's a full formulaic commercial film. But there are also commercial films that are not working in Hindi. So I'm just very confused about. I think all of us are confused. We're just throwing darts in the darkness, trying to understand, where hits the bullseye. So I think even as an actor, I feel like right now the idea is to balance both, like to be able to do commercial also and content also, and not focus on one or the other.
You're very what you said is very interesting. Today I think the larger conversation is how films are not working. Be it across industries. Be it
Mhm.
Hindi, your Tamil, Telugu. Once in a while you have a Pushpa coming in that really wreaks havoc at the box office. In a climate like this, Rashi, how do you sort of really pick your scripts? Because I understand the idea is to really do a good film. That's the key. That's key at the end of the day. But is does that double up the pressure in your mind about your audiences accepting your films?
I think at the end of the day, I want to be respected as an artist, as an actor, more than just being a famous actor, to be very honest. And I feel like anytime a script comes to me, I try to see the content, I try to see the story, I try to see the character, and then jump into it content wise. But I'll also be okay doing a commercial, brainless film where I'm just having fun just to balance my mental space. Because, when you're doing a content film, it's very taxing on you as an actor. You get into the character, you really give it your all, and then you need a sort of break. And that I balance with, let's say, I do a commercial film where I don't have to worry about giving too much of my brain into it, where we're just having fun. So for me, that is how I'm taking it. Because we are so unsure of what is going to happen on the box office anyway, I think it's best to choose both, like do content also and commercial also. And I think in my case, I've been lucky enough to get both. Not a lot of actors get that, but I think I'm just grateful for where I am. And and nobody can predict in the future what's going to work, what's not going to work anyway.
Absolutely. And I think, there were two films I can think of which really sort of, please correct me if I'm wrong, but sort of changed the game for you. One was Toli Prema, and the other happens to be Tiruchitrabalam, right? That was another film. I think you can with this, but I think the audiences also sort of started seeing you, filmmakers started seeing you through with these two films. Would you say that that sort of became game changing, in your career?
I think with Toli Prema, definitely it did help a lot because people started seeing me as an actor, started respecting me a little more. Tiruchitrambalam also, even though my character was like really small, as I said, even if it is small, it should just have an impact. And I remember Dhanush telling me that, just trust me and do this. For me, just do this. And I'm glad I did the film because it reached a lot of people. And even for that small part, I got calls saying, "Oh, we loved your work," and I'm like, "Really?" Like, I was barely there, but okay, that's great. That says a lot about what people want from you as an actor. So I think, and Farzi was another project I think that changed things for me in Hindi. So sometimes we actors just need that one film where people can just take notice and say, okay, we can bank on them. Oh, okay, they can act, or let's just take them for a project. I think that I've got a lot of respect because of these films, so they'll always be very special.
I think since we're talking about sort of trailblazing films, we'll have to talk about, 2024, there was Aranmanai 4. I mean, look at what that film did, headlined by two women. It was produced by a woman, Khushbu ma'am. But look at the kind of the precedent it really set. What do you think, Raashii, from a commercial point of view? What do you think the film did for you, your career?
I think me and Tamannaah, probably both of us didn't even like imagine that the film would do the numbers that it did. And it was extremely overwhelming because when I remember when Sundarsi sir told me that it's crossing 100 crore mark, I was like, are you serious? Like, is it possible? And he's like, yeah, it has happened. And I remember having a conversation with Tamannaah, and I think both of us are really happy about the fact that, because it was led by women and it made so much money, only lays president, it helps other women uh, put money on other women. Like it's like now people can come in and be very confident of putting money out there, especially for a woman-led film. Which I always saw that there was this. Uh, they would all these directors and producers who would come, they would always have very low budgets because they'd be like, no, we don't have the budget to do this. You'll have to cut your remuneration. And all of that I've gone through. But I think after that film, it changed things because then they were like, oh, but these two women have, taken this project so far, or it's earning so much money, and okay, now let's put money on them. And I understand where the producers also come from. So yes, as an actor, it has really helped me in terms of the commercial space where it helps you grow manifolds with your remuneration and with the tables turn. Where you're having conversations and telling them, okay, now you can place that bet on us. Let's just act and let's just take this project forward.
Do you think, however, Rashi, it could be a mindset problem also, sometimes apart from budget, that producers are not willing to pump in that much of money on a women-led film,
See,
especially one, in a genre-defining film like, let's say, an Aranmanai 4.
I think the problem is not as much for the producers to think that way. See, they are all there to earn money out of it. They don't think as creatively as we do as artists. I don't blame them for having that mindset because it's the people who should come and watch a film led by a woman. And we are a country who hero worship, and that's fine. I mean, we've always done that. And that's why it's easy for producers to put money on the hero because they're like, okay, he's a male actor. This is how much we'll get if we spend this much money on that male actor. But okay, let me spend that money on a female actor. Will she be able to give us the returns? They are only thinking about returns. And because they are the producers, they will think about the returns. So I don't really blame them. I think it's more of the mindset in general in our country where we just hero worship. And if there's a film led by a woman, they don't really maybe support it as much, unless it's a mind blowing film or it's a genre that they love. So I don't
Yeah.
really blame uh, the producers. I think it's more to do with us giving more support to female-led projects.
Absolutely.
As
But
an
yeah, sure. But didn't, as an actor, do you think the conversation to ask for, let's say, a larger piece of the pie in terms of the paychecks, has that gotten easier, especially after the success of the film we are talking about?
um, yeah, of course, definitely. Like
Hmm.
I can go and say, okay, my last film made this much. I at least deserve this much chunk for my next remuneration. But then there are a lot of factors. Like
Sure.
uh, let's say they do have a budget and they will tell us, okay, this is how much we have to give here. This is how much we have to give here. We are left with this much. Do you want to, take half your remuneration and then get into production with us? Those sort of conversations have definitely opened up, and the remunerations have also gone up. I won't deny, and I think success helps of a film commercially. It definitely helps in raising your numbers, and it also goes down if your films don't work. That also happens.
That's very true. But Rashi, I remember speaking to you. This was, I think, post Yodha,
Mhm.
and you had said that like what you told me right now. The idea is to, of course, strike a balance between all kinds of films. But you said that I also don't want to be a floozy running around the trees anymore. I have done that. My share, that's done. But how do you really beat the urge of being a part of, let's say, a big ticket film that and perhaps produced by one of the biggest production houses?
I would like to take my words back. I don't know what I told you earlier. Uh, it's not about being a floozy. Of course, your character should mean something in a film, or you should be able to create a character. If it's not well written, then there's no point in doing the role. But I feel even in commercial films today, there are better parts written for women. And we are not just floozies anymore. It's just not singing and dancing, and that's it. That's all you're a part of in a film. So for me, a certain part of me will always want some meat in the character, even if it is for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, or I'll talk to the director, or I'll make sure I add some layers to it. Otherwise, I will not be convinced to play that part. But having said that, as I said, like when you do more content, you want to break that with a commercial film. Because there was a point where I was doing only content, and after a while, I was just telling my team, I really need to do a commercial film to get out of this, to be in a mindset where I'm just having fun. So I think as an actor, I want to be able to enjoy both.
Absolutely. I think also when we talk about women-led films, they can also be fun, right? Not
Yeah.
all women-led films need to be serious.
Yes.
Yeah,
But I
very true.
think we also
Uh,
need
you,
more writers and directors to be able to bring out those genres and to be able to place their faith on us that, okay, if we write this really fun film, maybe this person will do it. But now it's also about whether it will be theatrical, whether it will be OTT. There's so many factors that have come in that it's become very difficult to greenlit projects, is what I feel today.
Raashii, it's very heartening to see also the kind of friendship that you share with so many of your peers. Vani, I think you used to be roommates with her at one
Yeah.
point in time. Yeah. And you spoke so fondly about Tamannaah. Do you think when you have two female actors, in a film, do you think it's a myth that two female actors can only have rivalry or insecurity or catfights between them?
See, I have also heard of things that have gone on set between two women where there has been rivalry in the earlier years. I don't know about now, but it's a very subjective thing. It depends on the kind of person you are. It could be between two male actors as well, but ऐसे ही हमें बदनाम कर देते हैं कि लड़कियां ही लड़ती हैं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Because it can happen between two male actors as well, but I don't think people ask that question enough to male actors. You always ask the female actors कि तुम लड़ रहे होगे, because women are like that. So I don't like that, and I also think that it's a very subjective thing. If you're a person who is a jealous person, you will be jealous of the other person in spite of your gender. So I don't think it's a gender thing, and I feel like I get to work with really good actors I can learn from. Great. I can be part of multi-starers. I can be part of a film which has three women. I don't care. Till the time the film is great, my part is great. I don't care about those things. And honestly, I've only known such women around me, who want to see you rise and who are happy for your success. So I don't believe in the fact that only women create trouble for each other. I think men also do that, and I think bringing gender into it is just wrong. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also like, it's very heartening also to see how you don't really shy away from appreciating your, peers, your contemporaries, be it men or women. We have seen you doing that. Among your contemporaries, is there somebody you're like, whose filmography you really admire and you root for?
I think there are so many women. I feel like I'd be doing injustice if I take one person's name.
Yeah.
Contemporaries, everyone's working so hard to sort of just make a mark for themselves. But I think there are too many. Yeah, I mean,
No problem. No
uh,
problem.
Sanya is one of them. I think who's
Yeah.
going. I'm really happy that Mrs. did really well for her. Like we have so much talent, and I feel like you just wait for the right opportunity. I also like Fatima. I think she's a really good actor. Even Medha, who was a part of 12th Fail, I think she's a wonderful actor. And I think there's still a long way to go for all of us anyway. But these are like just women on top of my head who I can think of right now, who I think deserve to do great work. And I'm happy that they are doing good work today.
Right, right. And lastly, Raashii, what's happening with Farzi? Everybody wants to know.
I also want to know, like you want to know. I know that there's definitely going to be Farzi too, for sure. That much I know. I think they still are at the writing stage, is what I was told, Raj and DK sir. But they are the right people to know, because I think Shahid is also as clueless as I am. So both of us have no idea. We're just waiting for a call, and we'll get a call and they'll be like, okay, we're ready with the script. Now we're going to start shooting. I really can't wait to start Farzi too. But let's see. Hopefully this year sometime.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Raashii. On that note, looking forward to what you do next.
Thank you, Titas. Thank
Thank
you.
you.